movie undeniably it moves with a kind of mechanical strength to it, and it does have a like it's undeniably a merchandised movie. It's like a PG-13 movie designed to sell toys and to sell lunchboxes. And, you know, I just think it's so cool that he found a story that contains a critique of that within it, because he was just also personally wrestling with that. And honestly, he does have that side of the movie win out the day. He's like, look, I want to convince you with this movie magic that all of this stuff is great and beautiful. And look at it's such an understandable fantasy to want to obsess over. But at the same time, you know, he does ultimately agree with the Dr. Malcolm character and his iconic delivery of, you know, life finding a way. You know, this is a, you know, he's looking at the, you know, the beautiful baby animatronic raptor and how cute it is, and then goes, well, what if this thing just started running around and murdering people? What if the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland was able to eat you, is what Malcolm says sort of like later in the film at one point. And he really does hammer home first the idea of like Hammond seeing himself as like a god, and he doesn't have humility, and he's done this unnatural act of repopulating 65 million year old extinct creatures and wielding this awesome power, as he describes it, I think in the best way, like a kid who's found his dad's gun.
Oh yeah, and you know what I love too is the way that Goldblum delivers that. It's a very funny line, but he actually says it with genuine concern, and so you kind of laugh. But his eyes are speaking like, just hey man, like the way that you seem so excited about wielding a 5,000-pound killing machine is concerning. And even though I have my charm because I'm the sexual magnetic Jeff Goldblum, I am genuinely concerned about
swagged out mathematician you've ever seen in your life.
Oh man,
I have serious thoughts about the fact that you were so preoccupied with if they could, that you didn't stop to think whether or not you should. And he does straight up basically just call him like, this is like a Frankenstein, sort of like monster situation that, you know, you're already in the process of packaging and selling this before you have thought through the obvious dangers of what this is, of being like, wait, we're breeding raptors? And, you know, the fact that you have an on-site game warden, Muldoon, played by Bob Peck in this film, who is like a guy who's used to entrapping dangerous animals in Africa. And it's like, you've hired this guy for an obvious reason. You are trying to control incredibly dangerous animals, essentially.
Yeah. And I also like that Spielberg has to kind of throw in like almost corporate espionage as well, where
that's also a Crichton thing. I could tell immediately looking at that. But I, again, thinking of disclosure's come up way too much on this show.
It has like, I swear to God, like every other month Disclosure pops up in some reference, which is so funny.
We have to blame Meg for that one.
Yeah. But I do like that they're like, it feels like just throwing in a little bit of that espionage stuff, which isn't a lot of it, but it's still there. It kind of gives another layer to what he's saying, where it's like, even if all of these people have the most, you know, the best intentions and all the proper protocols, if there's one insider that has some type of other plan, there's kind of an inescapable danger, even with the best of intentions. So I like that, you know, it's like, even if they went through this totally, another corporation was probably going to get a hold of it and then do whatever they want to do with it, which at least one of these corporations is going to fuck around.
Even if you trust the one good guy here who has money, you know, it's just like,
it feels
eventually a traitorous, disgruntled Wayne Knight is going to be working for your company. I do love that the corporate espionage plot is just Wayne Knight in a Hawaiian shirt, stressed out and sweaty, like he is in Basic Instinct, having a sort of like James Bond gadget shaving cream canister where he's meant to go get one of the embryos and get it back to one of the other companies.
It is so cool too that it's like, and very funny that like you'd think that would be a like kind of a more smooth talking, put together kind of character, and they even do things where, like, you know, he's kind of a slob on his desk, and at a certain point Samuel Jackson has to inspect his desk to know what's going on, and he's just like literally calls him.
He's also just an asshole. The fact that we're introduced to him just shooting that shaving cream on his hand and then putting it on someone else's pie like it's whipped cream, and then eyeing his bill so that the other company man will be like, hey, you're gonna pay for this. you know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's just such a, which is fun because he's very good at doing that. And as a performer, and then later on, he gets one of the most, I would say, like scary, just on a sense of like the imagery and kind like it doesn't show it like in most things in this movie, but the violence that is it is implying is pretty heavy. With his character later on when he gets killed
Yeah,
by
he
that like
definitely gets like one
fan
of the few like horror
dinosaurs.
movie sequences sort of like
Yeah,
in the movie where, you know, it's funny that structurally you could almost compare this to like a slasher where it's like they
totally.
just unleash this thing and characters start in, you know, running out into the forest at various
Especially
points and just getting taken by it.
especially the morality part of it, because the characters that do get mucked are usually the ones that have been, you know, oppressive to the dinosaurs, or they've been dicks to the
Jerks or
other human beings.
assholes.
Yeah, so it's always like this comeuppance thing.
That's
Um,
that easily sort of simplified sort of moral universe that I think that
yeah,
Spielberg is kind of imparting on this material of being like, look, there's, you know, there's the good corporate guys and bad corporate guys, and the bad corporate guys are going to get punished by getting eaten by
yeah,
dinosaurs.
and I like too that most of them that do it, like the lawyer gets that just pathetic one where he, you know, leaves the kids, and then the T-Rex looks at him and he just like shakes him around after the whole toilet or the bathroom explodes or gets destroyed by the T-Rex.
Mhm.
And but what I like about certain ones is they're all kind of related. Like the hunter, he obviously he's been kind of oppressive towards them and abusive, but he also has this respect for them because he is a hunter and he understands how they operate. And so when he goes up against the velociraptors, it's more set up like the velociraptors had to use a decoy of one of them to distract him from the other that's right beside him, and the hunter